Once upon a time in a place not too far away, there was a house where three minions lived. Their names were Kevin, Stuart, and Bob. Now, these minions weren't your ordinary minions. Oh no, these guys like to do things right. They took pride in themselves, their home, and their work. And what they lacked in intelligence, they made up for in heart and determination. One day, while doing chores, Kevin noticed something dreadful. There was a mountain of dirty clothes that needed to be washed. He knew it was time to take action. So in his most authoritative voice, he pointed to the washing machine and said, "Minions, laundry, go." Poor Stuart looked confused and scratched his head. He didn't know what Kevin was saying, but he knew it was important. Bob, on the other hand, was thrilled. Doing laundry was one of his favorite activities. He loved the bubbly suds, the spinning machine, and most of all, the fresh, clean smell of freshly laundered clothes. He started jumping up and down yelling, "Pee, bubble." The word bubble was actually a combination of many words Bob had mashed together. It came out as bubble, but really he was saying wash, swirl, suds, spin, twirl, and bubble. The minions began to gather around the mountain of clothes. Some were dirty from playing outside. Others had food stains from when they helped chef prepare meals, and some were just plain old stinky. Kevin wanted to make sure that everything was separated by color so that nothing bled. He started piling up the whites, then the lights, and then the darks. Stuart thought this was a great idea, but he wasn't really good at following instructions. As the others started putting clothes into the washing machine, he kept shoving things in randomly. Once he even put a bright red sock with a pile of white shirts. Kevin saw this and was not happy. He tried to tell Stuart that it wouldn't be good if the colors bled, but all Stuart heard was gibberish. He shrugged innocently and said, "Chicka, hey." Meanwhile, Bob was having a great time. He found the detergent and instead of pouring it into the machine like a normal minion, he decided to taste it first. After all, what's a little laundry detergent between friends? It wasn't poison, so he figured it must be okay to pour it straight into the washing machine. Then he poured an entire bottle of fabric softener, thinking it would make everything smell nice and fresh. Bob giggled maniacally as the washing machine rumbled to life. He loved the sound of it, but oh boy, did he have no idea what was about to happen. As soon as the machine started, suds began to overflow. They filled the drum and quickly started spilling over the top. Before long, the laundry room was knee-deep in foamy suds. The minions shrieked with delight and panic as they struggled to keep their balance. The room was quickly becoming a giant bubble bath. "What?" Kevin sputtered, covered head to toe in suds. "Papoy, no, he couldn't believe what was happening. The washing machine was supposed to wash the clothes, not create a giant bubble bath. But he had to admit it was kind of fun. He splashed and giggled as he tried to grab Stuart, who was laughing hysterically. "Baya, ha," Stuart yelled, sliding on the suds. The two wrestled and splashed until Bob joined in. He poured more detergent and fabric softener, making the bubbles even bigger and thicker. "Doo, bubble," he yelled, laughing maniacally. The minions played until the suds reached the ceiling. The washing machine rumbled and shook, but it couldn't shake the minions off. They were having too much fun. But the party came to an abrupt end when the washing machine door suddenly burst open. Water gushed out, turning the sudsy floor into a slippery river. The minions screamed and scrambled, but they were too late. The water was rising fast. It went under the door, flowed through the hallway, and spread throughout the house. All they could do now was float. They clung to random items of clothing as the current swept them away. The minions tumbled and slid, crashing into each other and bouncing off walls. It was like a giant water park, except they didn't want to go down the water slides. They just wanted to get away from the water. Potatona, Baya," Bob yelled at the top of his lungs. He was scared, but he was also having the time of his life. This was the best laundry day ever. The water carried them through the house until it finally stopped. They had landed in a giant puddle of sudsy, now pink water. The minions emerged, dripping and bewildered. Their eyes met and they all burst into giggles. Bob held up a now pink shirt and yelled, "Pinky, Tim." He didn't know what he was saying, but it sounded cool. Kevin looked at him, then at Stuart, then at his own pink overalls. He sighed and shook his head, but a small smile crept onto his face. He had no idea how this happened, but it wasn't so bad. He might be a little wet and a little covered in suds, but he smelled nice and his clothes were a nice shade of pink. "Baya," he said with a giggle. Grr. Stuart laughed too. He didn't care that the laundry wasn't sorted or that the washing machine was leaking. He didn't care that the floor was covered in suds or that the walls were stained with detergent. He didn't even care that his hair was standing on end because of all the static electricity. All he cared about was having fun with his friends. And even though the laundry wasn't done, the minions had such a blast that they didn't care. They had learned a valuable lesson that day. Sometimes laundry can be more than just a chore, sometimes it can be an adventure. A very messy, very sudsy, very pink adventure. The minions spent the rest of the day playing in the suds, completely ignoring the flooded, suds-filled room. They splashed and giggled and dreamed up all sorts of fun games to play. They rolled around in the suds, made castles out of soap, and even had a bubble party. It was the best laundry day they had ever had. And as the sun set, they looked around at the mess they had made and smiled. Sure, there was a lot of work to do, but they had done it together and that made all the difference. They were tired and hungry, but before they went to bed, they made a plan to do it all again next week. After all, who needs a boring old laundry room when you can have a giant bubble bath? Now, if you're wondering how the laundry got done, well, that's a story for another time. Maybe the minions had help from an unexpected source, or maybe they used their imagination to finish the job. Maybe they even learned a thing or two about teamwork and responsibility along the way, but that's a secret for you and me. So next time you're doing laundry, remember the minions and their epic bubble adventure. And don't be afraid to let loose and have a little fun. Just be careful with the detergent and don't turn your laundry room into a swimming pool. Unless you like swimming with bubbles, of course. If you enjoyed the antics of Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more Minion Mayhem. And if you have a story you'd like to see adapted into a Minion adventure, share it with us in the comments below. Who knows, you might see your story come to life with the Minions. Until next time, keep on giggling.